I'm interested in the Pittsburgh Pirates for a couple reasons. Number one, the fact that Ben Cherington, who's running the team, is an executive that I like. I think he did a very good job with the Boston Red Sox. I think he's got a very good baseball mind. Unfortunately, his performance as the person in charge of the Pittsburgh Pirates has not been very good. He hasn't had some very good drafts, for the exception of guys like Paul Skeens, and hopefully we'll see Connor Griffin soon. But outside of that, the Pirates have gone from being bad to not that much better in his time. Now, you can blame the owner, Bob Nutting, who may be the poster child for the worst owner in professional sports, let alone Major League Baseball. But it is what it is. And Ben Cherington is at a point where, you know what, his job should be a topic of discussion, whether he should continue to run the Pittsburgh Pirates. I like him. I want to see him succeed. I like the fact that there's at least reports that the Pittsburgh Pirates are willing to spend money this offseason. So I put this all together and I said, hey, if I was running the Pittsburgh Pirates, this is how I would handle the offseason. If I was Ben Cherington, this is what I would do. Now, I think the Pirates have the ability to add a considerable amount of money to their payroll. And I think it's not going to be one of those things where you're going to go into free agency and just sign a bunch of players to ridiculous contracts. I think they're going to be able to sign one significant contract, a couple one-year deals, and make a series of trades. So I'm going all in on the Pittsburgh Pirates. This is how I'm going to do it. First, I go out there in free agency and I sign free agent designated hitter Kyle Schwarber to a 5-year, $125 million contract. Now, yes, part of it's going to be selling him on the fact that the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to be pretty good. And I want to talk to him. I want to say, listen, you as a proven leader are going to kind of be like my Curtis Granderson with the New York Mets in 2014. Some of the players you think of, Mike Napoli, Shane Victorino for the Boston Red Sox in 2013 when Ben Cherington was running that team. I want you to be the focal point of the leadership that's going to happen here and help the Pirates become a winner. Next, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to make the trade of the offseason. I'm going to call Scott Harris of the Detroit Tigers, and I'm going to pull off a trade for Tarek Skubal. And I'm going to be able to start my rotation with Paul Skeens and Tarek Skubal. Now, you're going to say, hey, what do the Pittsburgh Pirates have that the Detroit Tigers would want? I think they got one of the more intriguing players of baseball that isn't really working out with the Pirates. O'Neal Cruz. I'm acquiring Tarek Skubal for O'Neal Cruz and Mitch Keller. Tigers get a controllable pitcher for another couple of years. They get the young Cruz, who has so much talent and ability, can hit the ball 100 miles an hour, can throw the ball 100 miles an hour. You can play him in center field. And this way, the Tigers, making a significant trade, dealing their 2-time Cy Young Award winner, aren't going to be in a position where they should be expected to do worse. They could be just as good or better without Skubal if they trade him for O'Neal Cruz and Mitch Keller. Then I'm calling the New York Mets, and I'm going to offer them Dennis Santana, and I'm going to acquire Jeff McNeil to play second base. So Jeff McNeil comes over from the Mets in exchange for Dennis Santana. Then I'm going to go back out to free agency. I'm going to sign Kenley Jansen to a 1-year, $15 million contract to be my closer. So you need somebody to pitch late in the game. Kenley Jansen is trying to get as many saves as he can over the course of his career. Maybe you have Schwarber and McNeil kind of help you a little bit with Skubal and Skeens to convince Kenley Jansen, yeah, you're going to get a lot of saves with the Pittsburgh Pirates because this team's going to be good. I call up the New York Yankees, and I ask for Trent Grisham to play center field for me. I trade Carmen Mlodzinski, a one-time top prospect of the Pittsburgh Pirates, very strong arm, could pitch out of the bullpen or as a starter. And the Yankees, who Brian Cashman, their general manager, seems to be keen on the fact that Grisham accepted the qualifying offer to return to the New York Yankees, I think deep down he'd like to move him if he can. And if somebody like Ben Cherington calls him up and says, hey, I want Trent Grisham and could offer something back, I think Cashman and the Yankees would be happy to say, okay, let's do it. It'll create some time for Jason Dominguez. It'll create some time for Spencer Jones to have a chance to play, and still gives the Yankees a chance to go out there and sign Kyle Tucker or Cody Bellinger, which I know they want to do. I'm going to call up the Mets again, and I'm going to make another deal with them. two separate trades, not just the McNeil trade, but I'm going to go trade for Kodai Senga for the Mets. I'm going to trade the Mets Jared Triolo and Justin Lawrence. Jared Triolo, multi-position infielder, excellent defensively wherever he plays, gives the Mets some depth off their bench, a guy that can play multiple positions. Justin Lawrence was great with the Colorado Rockies a couple of years ago. He's coming off a really good stretch for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I think he helps the Mets bullpen. You trade Senga, the Mets are going to redo their pitching staff. They're going to be active in both the trade and free agent market. I expect they're starting the pitching to be a lot better, but I also expect there to be a lot of new faces. So you add Kodai Senga to the rotation. Why does this work for the Pittsburgh Pirates? Kodai Senga's best year was 2023 with the New York Mets. He wasn't the ace like the Mets expected him to be in 2024 and 2025. He was the number 3 starter behind 2 future Hall of Famers, Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander. That got the most out of Kodai Senga. Kodai Senga pitching with the Pittsburgh Pirates as the number 3 starter behind Paul Skeens and Tarek Skubal is going to get the best out of Kodai Senga. After that, I call the Philadelphia Phillies. I know that David Dombrowski can't wait to get rid of Nick Castellanos. The question is going to be, how much, David, are you going to be willing to pay Nick Castellanos to not play for you? Because he wants him out. First of all, you're going to need somebody to be interested. The fact that I just suggested a couple left-hand bats, Schwarber, McNeil, Grisham, you're going to need a right-hand hitter to help to kind of balance it out. I offer Yohan Ramirez, who's a pitcher that I think the Phillies could use as depth in their rotation, and I see what the Phillies are willing to pay to send Castellanos to Pittsburgh. Finally, I'm finishing off my offseason by acquiring or signing left-hand pitcher Gregory Soto, free agent, 1 year, $8 million contract. So how does this make the Pirates better? You look at their team, Spencer Horowitz will be playing first base, McNeil at second. Top prospect in all of baseball, Connor Griffin, is playing short. Nick Gonzalez playing third. Brian Reynolds still on your team in left field. You got Grisham in center, Castellanos in right, Schwarber DHing, Joey Bart catching, with the hope that maybe former number 1 overall pick Henry Davis can become something as an everyday catcher for them. Emmanuel Valdez, Andy Rodriguez amongst those on the bench. You got a starting rotation of Skeens, Skubal, Senga, Bailey Falter, and then prospects Bubba Chandler and injured pitcher Jared Jones. Jansen, Soto, Brandon Ashcraft, who was kind of a starter and a reliever, has got a live arm. I think he can become a really good late inning reliever for them. Johan Oviedo was a starter. I think they should use him in the bullpen. You got guys like Matson and Shugart who were getting a chance to pitch for them last year. I think this turns the Pirates from a 90-loss team to a team that could win probably 80-something games and compete